Hey Floss Tube, it's Carol, the Saltbox Stitcher. How are you? It's been a while, but been on vacation. We took a staycation, went to the beach. We're about, I don't know, 12 miles from the ocean, and um, so we decided we'd just go stay out there for a little over a week. And I had family come, and they stayed. And got too much sun, but it's all good. So you notice I said hey because when I first moved to Florida, people would say, hey, meaning hi. And I would think, yeah, what? I thought they just wanted my attention. But obviously, that's a new way of saying hi. So, happy 4th of July for those of you in America that celebrate Independence Day. Happy Independence Day. So, hopefully, you're getting lots of stitching and good eating and maybe some fireworks and all that. So, but I thought it was interesting how hey and hi and then how words kind of change because when years ago I used to say Americana and I collected a lot of Americana. I love Americana. And to me, that was what is now called patriotic. So I'm not sure what to call it. And for those people in other countries, maybe Americana is not the right word, but I don't know. I've always called it Americana. So I have so much to show. I hope y'all can last because it's like crazy. But first of all, I want to thank you. I have been overwhelmed by the response I've gotten from FlossTube. I just had no idea. Comments started coming in fast and furious. I'm not a techie. And so my husband said, well, I'll show you how to, you do the answers on the computer and all that. And in the past, I email, I do everything on either my phone or my iPad. So I started answering comments through his computer, which is how I'm videoing. And it's totally different typing. And I don't type very well. So, I couldn't double click for a period. It didn't automatically start a capital letter with the next sentence. And so I got like crazy confused. And so there were comments that I answered, but somehow they never showed up. So if you got a comment, if you made a comment and I didn't answer you, I'm sorry. I read them all. I tried to answer them all. I have gone back a couple times to see if I've answered them all. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate the shout outs. I just could not believe it. That was like so crazy. My husband said told me, he said, I'll take you out for a steak dinner if you get 500 subscribers. I haven't got my steak dinner yet because I think it's like time for about 4 of them. Anyway, thank you so much. And there were so many people that are floss tubers that gave me kind shout outs and flannel jammies and kitten stitcher and she's my BFF and the primitive stitcher and Steph and Pam and just on and on. And I just really appreciate it. I am still just like reeling. I'm like overwhelmed. So I'm going to try to continue this whole thing and do another one. So we'll see if it turns out good. I don't know. So anyway, the first thing I really wanted to do was show you some of the things that I have stitched and sewn and things like that I've done over the years. And I have decorated patriotic for a while. I love red, white, and blue. Love red. I mean, I'm sold on red. I'd paint my whole house red if I could. And my bedroom is patriotic. We have an eagle wallpaper border in there, and I love all that. My kitchen is red, white, and blue, and so I've collected a lot of that kind of stuff over the years. So I thought I'd show you some of the things I've made, and then I'll move on to things that I've taken off the walls because most of my patriotic stitching is in other rooms. So I will eventually get to all this. I've had so many comments about my wall. I have a fairly small house, and this is my dining room. And This is where I keep all my extra dishes for the holidays and all that kind of thing. So it's a very functional room, but yes, it's filled with stitching on all the walls. And so, but most of this is samplers, and most of my patriotic Americana whatever is in other rooms. So anyway, the first thing I want to show you, I said I was a novice rug hooker, so I have this one little tiny rug, and it's not finished. I haven't blocked it or finished the edges, but it's just like a flag. And when I get it done, hopefully sometime I'll put it on the wall. So love it. It was the very first thing I ever hooked, and I was hooked. So anyway, the next thing I want to show you is this was actually I think this was a kit. And years ago, my sister and I went to a retreat. It was called the Liberty Gathering. It was in Liberty, Missouri. It was just an unbelievable collection of teachers and designers. There was rug hooking, there was cross stitch, quilting, folk art painting, basket weaving, everything. And you found your own place to stay, and then you just signed up for classes. And so a lot of times, even if you didn't take a class, you were able to buy a kit from other classes. So it was wonderful. It went on for like 5 years, and I think my sister and I went to 3 or 4 of them. So this was one of the things I did. Right side up here. This is it's wool. I don't even know if I can get the whole thing in. It's an eagle pillow. Sits on my bed, and it's all wool, and it's just appliqued on there. It has like ticking on the back, and it's just loosely stuffed with fiberfill. So that's fun, and I love it. I'm back. I also did this pillow. I did this a while ago, and I actually traded a friend of mine for quilting. And this was embroidered. And this was by a gal they were called I Did My Best, or I Done My Best. And like these are all French knots in here. So I embroidered the whole thing. Unfortunately, some little person in my life tore a couple of the buttons off, so I need to replace those. But this was called Freedom Angel, and like I said, my friend finished it all for me with into the pillow, which was fun. This is another one that was a pillow that I did, and I think this was by Stitches from the Heartland. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the pattern anymore. I actually think somebody borrowed this from me. And I almost want to stitch it again, because when I first stitched this, and it's just on homespun, when I first stitched this, the way we did it was, you stitched around the edge, and then you frayed the edges of the linen. Is there anybody in your life that forgets that decorative pillows aren't to be used as back supports? Because I don't know why. They look at a pillow like this and they crumple it up and put it behind their back. And it's like, no, that's a decorative pillow. That's just to look at. So I think I've just about got him trained. But anyway, so right here is right up to that stitching, and there's no way I can, fray it anymore because I'm right at the stitching. And it's really cute, and it was easy to do. And even though I don't have the chart, I think I could copy it from my own stitching. But that was fun. It's hard to see in the pillow, but it actually has some green, and then you have the green and the alphabet and all that. So that was fun. And let's see. I'm dropping stuff, so hold on. I'm back. Okay. The next thing, and I'm embarrassed to say, this has been on the wall and not really 100% framed. This was called Sweet Land of Liberty. Oh, see? Anyway, it's called Sweet Land of Liberty, and this was a pattern by Heart in Hand, and I did this quite a while ago. And so I just need to take the time, and I I've done some framing. I don't do my reproduction samplers or anything that's very big. But I could do something like this, and it would probably be fine. So anyway, I got to figure out where to put stuff. Hold on. Okay, so that was number 1. These came off the wall. This was one I did frame myself. It's a grand old flag. And this one it's a blackbird design pattern. Oops. But it's by Maggie Bononomy. And I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she does a lot of wool. Beautiful, beautiful things. She's from Missouri. I've taken classes from her, and she does a lot of wool applique, penny rugs and that kind of thing. And you can search her name, Country Sampler in Wisconsin. They do carry a lot of her kits and things like that. So she has some books out too. The name escapes me. I want to say one was like, I don't know, buttermilk or something. I can't remember. But anyway, that's this one. So that was fun to stitch. I framed this myself, and it turned out okay. It was a frame that I had ordered from Hobby Lobby, I think, for something else. And so it's a little bigger than I like. I don't generally like that big a margin, but it was one of those, it works. So let's just do that. The next one, I could not find the pattern for this. So forgive me. I did this a long time ago. This is Congress cloth. I don't know if you can see. It's an even weave. I actually liked stitching on it. And I know it's called Congress cloth because I actually still have a piece of it that's, I don't know, like 26 or 28 count. And this was one of those that had multiple things. I don't think it was cross-eyed cricket, maybe heart and hand. So if anybody knows, maybe they can put it in the comments. But that was fun. Alphabets, flags. Love them. Just gotta love them. This next one, let me take this out of the paper. And this one is another one. Oh, the dust is, I don't dust. This one is one that I had matted. I did it a while ago. And I actually like the matting on this because it's red, So, and I love that house. Just love it. And this one is by the City Stitcher. And I know Mischievous Stitches. Thank you again for your shout out. I love it. She mentioned City Stitcher, and I was also familiar that City Stitcher does do quilting patterns, so you can still get them. If you Google City Stitcher, you can pretty much get a lot of her patterns. It's a quilting site, since a lot of her patterns are quilting, but yeah, and it was fun. It's red. House, red house, flag, alphabet. What else do you need? The next one, a couple people have talked about this recently, and this one is one of my favorites. This is Summer at Hollyberry. I always want to say Hollybrook, but it's Hollyberry. Summer at Hollyberry Farm. And I love this piece. Love the bunting, love the flag, love the dog. This is really one of my favorites. And this is the pattern. It's by Stacey Nash. And there's 4 of these. I actually don't have the spring one, the pattern. But I have done the winter or I think it's Christmas at Hollyberry. And I am currently working on Halloween at Hollyberry. In fact, when I went to the beach, that was what I took with me because it's easy to do, that fill-in stitching, and I'm working on the house. But hopefully in the next couple videos, maybe when it's more time for fall, I'll show you a few more of things that I've done that are fall or Halloween-ish. So, But I did the Christmas one. These borders are lovely. They're a little intricate, and it takes a little counting, but they're really fun. This next one was one that I actually had somebody ask me what this was. They said, I saw it on your wall, and I wanted to know what it was. And this one's called Liberty House. And this is by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I love this frame. I've had a couple things done with this frame. I'm not sure who makes the frame. I've had them custom framed and love it with the stars. I don't know if you can see it very good. Yeah, with the stars. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This was a little bit of a challenge for me, and it's kind of hard to see. This is really more of a true red. Whatever it called for, and I'm not sure. Country redwood, maybe. It was too orange. My skein was too orange. So I had this dilemma. Okay, what's the perfect red for this house? And I have a good friend, really good friend. She's like my linen and thread go-to expert. She's worked at multiple cross-stitch stores, and she's fabulous at knowing linens, knowing counts, all that kind of thing. So I said, Ruth, I got to find the perfect red for this house. And she said, oh, well, we'll have to think about that. So she woke up one night, in the middle of the night, and she said, I got to find the perfect red for Carol. So she decided, she said, oh, I know what it is. It's Schoolhouse Red. So, and there's multiple Schoolhouse Reds. You can get it in Gloriana, and I think Gentle Art has the Schoolhouse Red. It's kind of hard to tell here, but for this house, Schoolhouse Red, perfect. So I'm very happy with it. I actually I think I did I don't know. I took out parts of it more than once trying to find the perfect red, but love it. Now I'm happy. Got to have stitching friends to help you in those crisis moments. Okay, next one. And this one, love it, love it, love it, love it. Love it. This is, oops, I didn't take it out of the bag. This is Liberty 1776 by Little House Needleworks. I love it. And they have some really nice patriotic Americana. There's one, somebody showed it recently. I think it was Mama Joan in the Joan and Kelly show, and she showed it. It has the Pledge of Allegiance, and I just love those. There's a couple of them I have in my stash that I really, really want to do. So just love the colors. It's just primitive. There again, same frame. If you like it once, you like it twice. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, and I'm moving along pretty fast here, so maybe I ought to stop and laugh for a while or something. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of the smalls I have, and I don't have as many as I'd like to have. I'm always conflicted, it's like, oh, I have these big projects and I get started on them, and they're going to take 4 or 6 weeks, and I'm like, well, maybe I should stop in the middle and do a couple smalls, but I don't. I just keep working on the big thing. So I've tried to make myself, I started at Christmas, and I tried to make myself just stop, and I have lots of kitted things that I want to do, and they really usually don't take you very long, maybe 4 or 5 nights. And depending on how much stitching there is, you can get them done pretty quickly. And so, it's like, okay, I need to just set aside the big project and then do some smalls and finish them because I love them. I have 2 dough bowls. One is an oversized one, and I just love them. I mean, I love to see them sitting around. If you've been on Instagram, and by the way, my Instagram is CBW Quilts. And anyway, if you've been on Instagram, there's a couple people out there that have these fabulous, fabulous displays of patriotic smalls. And I got to do it. I think Mama Joan, and Joan and Kelly, they recently did a huge parade of all of her patriotic smalls. And so many of them I have, and I have them kitted. So I have no excuse. All that said, first, this is the first one, and I told myself I would have all these patterns right here. Let's see if I can get them. That's one thing when you do floss tube. There's a lot of like, you gotta prep all this stuff. You gotta have places for it. You gotta stack it up. So it's kind of challenging sometimes. Anyway, this one, it's in that most recent, or not most recent, a recent Blackbird book, which I'm going to come to later because it's one of the things that I have kitted ready to go. But the pattern, when I got it, was Reward of Merit, and this is it. But it's in that book. It was very fun. I loved it. It was very fun. So I like to do the cording. I just like the finished look of it. It's kind of tailored. I'm not a real frou-frou person at all. Less is more for me. But I did want to put just a little bow, and this is actually a button, but it has an anchor on it, so I thought it was kind of appropriate. So sometimes that's the fun part, is once you have them stuffed, and this is stuffed with sawdust. Once you have them stuffed, then you can, doll them up a little bit. So that was fun. Okay. The next thing, and this is a Plum Street. And this was done for Soul Sisters, which was a club from Country Sampler. It says peace, love, and purpose. I had to change a few colors on this. They send you a kit, and so, a couple of them, I wanted those flying geese quilt, flying geese to show up, and I love all the quilt stuff on the house and the flag, and I just love flags. I just love it. Anyway, and this one, I just put a quilting cotton on the back. Since you like to see the back, that was the back of that other one. I've collected a lot of fabric over the years. I have a whole fabric room. So I just go to the one shelf that's patriotic and pull out whatever I want. But anyway, this one's just a blue. But I took, it's called snug tape, and it's a type of, I don't know, it's not, what's it called? It's like a rayon type binding type tape, and I braided 3 pieces, and then I just put that on. Okay, let's get real. A lot of people say, how do you attach all that on your piece? I glue it. Don't tell anybody. It's just mine. It's a lot faster. And Eileen's glue sticks really well. It dries clear. Just don't tell, okay? Because I know it's not real proper. But I do it. So anyway, that's that one. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And this one I did a while ago. This is a, in fact, I saw I was watching Primitive Stitcher, and her latest video, she has this on the wall, framed. And I thought, that's one of the wonderful things about floss tube. If you went into a shop, they probably would not have multiples of these stitched in, like one framed, one into a small. But on floss tube, you can see the same thing finished in so many different ways that it's really, really kind of inspiring, But this was one, and this is just fiberfill. And I've kind of gotten away from using fiberfill. And the reason is, for me, I don't know if I do something wrong, but it tends to get this wing kind of effect, where the corners kind of like poke out. And I'm not crazy about that. I like it to look more just flat or straight, I guess is really how to say it. But this is so cute. And this is a Lizzie Kate land that I love. That's been around a while, but it's fun. The back. Flags. Okay, the next one. This isn't really patriotic, but I love this, and I put it in the basket with it. This is, I don't have the pattern. This is Scarlet House, and I wish I knew the name of the pattern, but I don't. But love a big house. White, red, love a big house. The next one, this is kind of funny. I was watching the Joan and Kelly show, and she showed this piece, and she had it in a small, and mine has walnut shells in it. So anyway, she was showing it, and then she showed the back, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're Stitch Sisters. I put the exact same thing on the back. What are the odds? It was a kid. It hit me later. I was like, oh, that was a kit. So no wonder we got the same backing in our kit. Anyway, I know. Don't say it. It says Old Flag Station. I took a rusty pin because it looked kind of plain up there to me. Can you see it? I'm sorry. I'm kind of like squishing it. And I took a rusty pin, and I just took 3 little tiny pieces of wool. I don't know. Did you have anybody in your life that was a sewer? My mom used to put pins in her shirt. I guess for when she needed it, she'd always have 3 or 4 straight pins right there. Ouch. I mean, just in her shirt, or her apron, And my mom's pin cushion usually had just stuff. What was this old button with 25 different colors of thread? What was that for? Now we do it on purpose. Anyway, there's the pattern. It's called the Pin Keep. It was a kit by old Linda Thrayan. I'm not sure if that's, but the Pin Keep Patterns is the name of the company, and then Old Flag Station is the name of the piece. A lot of these are about the same size, so I need to expand my horizons, do some smaller and some bigger ones. This one I actually showed you last time. I had started it for Mania, and I think I had part of the flag done. So this one I stuffed with sawdust, did the cording, added a little bow, and a little rusty star. So that one just has some homespun on the back. Somebody else showed this recently on a video, but I think my fabric's a little bit darker. So that was fun. And the next one that I want to show you, I'm just racing right through here, so this may not be as long as I thought. This one is Fractor Friends, and it's not patriotic, but I started it during Mania. Oops, there we go, Fractor Friends. And Silver Needle has a club, and I think it's called Circle of Friends, maybe Circle of Friends, and it's not in the it doesn't start in the calendar year. It usually starts like in the fall, and you get like 5 kits. And so I did this one, and this ribbon stuff came with it. And now you see why I don't sew them. This is sewn. And, you know, I didn't do a super, super great job, but put the little beads in between, and it was kind of tedious. Anyway, I wouldn't have glued this, because anytime you have ruching or anything like that, you have to stitch it on. But I thought it turned out cute. And I think I just had the border and maybe one flower started when I did Mania. So that's that. So then I thought I'd show you a couple finishes that aren't finished. I finished stitching them. This one is Salute to Abigail, and this was originally a Dying to Stitch Prim Sisters Club piece, and I think I want to have this framed. Not me frame it, but have it framed, because I really like this one. I'm not sure. It came in a kit, so I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure it's the called for. I think it might be mink. I don't know, by R&R. It's an R&R fabric for sure. And the kit came with silks, and the red that came with it was called Madeline's Locks. These were silken colors. It was very orange, and so I used a different silken colors in the burgundy, I think is what I used. And it actually has some kind of purpley to it. You look at some of these flowers along here. There's some kind of purpley. But anyway, it was pretty variegated, but I thought it turned out okay. It's got 2 colors of blue, and then the red and the white or parchment color. Yeah, I think I want to have it framed. The weird thing was I finished it, and when I finished it, the lighter blue is what's for the 4 and the J in July 4th. And it was so light, the strand that I used, and it was kind of late, and I was stitching, and I thought, oh, yay, I'm done, you know. And the next day I looked at it, and I thought, you can't even see that. It looks like Ulai. What is Ulai? It's supposed to be July. Anyway, so I went back and restitched those 2, the J and the 4. And I'm much happier with it. So that turned out cute. But that is also in that book that had that same, this one. And I'll show you that book in a minute. So that's Salute to Abigail. So that was a whip. In fact, it was a piece that in my stitching group, everybody was like, oh, I love this. Let's all stitch it together. So a bunch of us started. Some people were like, I'm not going to do this border. This is too much. So some people gave up on it. I personally was like, no, I'm going to finish it. But I had put it away for a little while, and then I got it out recently. I really like to stitch during the season. So like when I was at the beach and stitching Halloween at Hollyberry Farm, and it was kind of like, oh, this is not as fun as if I was stitching a flag. So, Christmas time comes, I'm decorated for Christmas, I want to stitch Christmas. And I may not finish it that year, but I still like to stitch in the season. It puts me in the mood, I guess, I don't know. Or it's just weird. But another one that I showed you during Mania was this one by Lottie Da, Softly Walk. And I think I just had a little tiny bit of the border done. And so I finished that one. And I did change the bottom design, I guess I'll call it. Because on the pattern, it's like a tealy color. But, and it would have been fine. I just wanted it a little calmer. And this is another one that I think I'd like to have framed. And the reason is because I did this one, which is also a la-di-da. Let me live in a house by the side of the road and be a friend to all. Red house. And these aren't really patriotic, but I just want to show you my progress. I had done this in the fall last year, and they're kind of companion because they are about the same size. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to have them framed, you know, similar, and hang them together. So I'm going to do that. That's this one by La-Di-Da, Big Red House. So I finished those. This is Anna Grader by Scarlet House, and I had the pattern out last time in my last video, but I didn't get it out, but I finished that. Another one I think I want to have framed. The bigger alphabet is all eyelet stitches. I like to do them, but they can be tedious. I mean, they take a little bit longer, because when you do an eyelet stitch, you really should start and end to where your hole in the middle of your eyelet stays open, and so, you know, it's really easy to just kind of like go right across and cover the hole from the back, but you should be able to see the hole. You know, I like to hold it up to the light. See if I can see it. I love the colors on this. I think a black frame will just be really nice. So I don't have a local framer that I send stuff to, so that'll be one that I'll, you know, probably have to send away. Some of the ones that I'm getting framed. And then I finished Liberty Welcome. I think I showed this in progress last time. I am really learning this whole up, down, sideways thing. I love this piece. One of the things I debated when I was first doing it, you know, when you first start on this house, it's very similar to the color of the linen. And I was like, oh, whoa, is the house going to just like disappear? And, you know, a ghost house disappear and you wouldn't be able to see it. So I actually tried a couple other colors. I did like a row or two. I was like, no, I'm going to go back to what the original. And I'm happy I did, because I think it really turned out nice. And it has, you know, a little bit of over one stitching. It's supposed to say this work wrought by me, and then Paula had her P. Stewart, but I did CBW in 2018. When I do over one, I use a hoop, because just the way I stitch in and out when I do over one. And I actually have the Blackbird Designs Anniversaries of the Heart. I think you're probably all familiar, and I'll show it at some point, but I have all the over one stitching left to do on that. And I need to just say, okay, every whatever day is going to be my over one day, and just sit and do it. You know, at the time I was like, well, I'll leave the over one on this one, because I don't know who's, you know, you're supposed to January, and whoever's special to you, you put their initials or their name. February, March, etc. So you kind of go, well, you know, we don't have any birthdays in whatever month, and so what am I going to do here? Or what am I going to do there? And so you think, well, I'll make that decision later. And then pretty soon the whole thing's done, and it's like, now I got to go do all that over one. Not looking forward to it. But I will, because I want to finish it, and I've been working on it for a few years, probably since it came out, so probably more than a few. Anyway, one other thing I want to show you before, well, no, I have some whips, and then I have a couple other things I wanted to show you. One of the things I wanted to show you, I had somebody ask about a piece that's in, and it's, I didn't get it down, I should have, but it's one of the pieces that was in the introductory video, and it was this one, Handwork Primitives Think of Me, 1837. This was a kit, and I bought it early 2000s. Started it, and I hadn't really graduated to stronger readers. I think I had really good eyes. I could do cross stitch for a long time, and then you get kind of like the OLD word, and your eyes are like, my dad used to say, my eyes are fine, I just need longer arms. Because, the further you hold it out, the better you can see it. But anyway, I hadn't graduated to stronger readers, and so I put it away for a while because I really was having trouble seeing it. The linen was a little bit difficult to see, and it was a higher count. And not recently, within the last 3 years or so, I got it back out, and I was like, I really like this. I want to finish it. And of course, I had stronger readers by then, and it didn't take me any time at all. So it's another one though that's just sitting in a frame, and I need to, because I have the frame, I just need to frame it. But yeah, think of me. Somebody asked, a couple people I think asked comments about it, and this is what it is. I think it's still available. I think I did look and it was still available. Somebody else asked about my project roll, and this is it. Now, I have a long arm quilting machine, but it's a Gamble. It's huge. It's got a 12-foot table. It's in our family room, so which is now one of my sewing rooms. I have two. Okay, anyway. So this one I actually quilted on my sewing machine because I wanted straight line quilting, and the Gamble, I can't do straight line quilting. I can, but it's not straight because it doesn't have feed dogs. So anyway, I did this on my sewing machine, and this is Blackbird design fabric. This came out a while ago. I think they were like the first ones to really come out with sampler fabric, and it's taken from antique samplers that they have. And for a while, every line of Moda quilt fabric that the Blackbird design girls came out with, they included at least one color. Some of them were. So at the time, I was working at a quilt store, and so I thought, I'm going to collect that because it may not always be around, which it's not. I think you can still get some pieces. I told somebody, if you go to quiltshops.com, it's a search engine, and you put in Blackbird design or Blackbird cross-stitch fabric or Blackbird sampler fabric, there may be a few that have come up. In fact, I bought some like real dark blue and some dark green because I thought, I might need that at some point. So anyway, I made this, and I just put a ribbon on it, and I put my pieces in here, my bigger samplers, so that I don't have to like fold them in 10 million pieces, 10 million folds, and have to iron it over and over. And then when I go to Stitch Group, or I'm maybe not working on a piece, I can put it in there. And I just tie a ribbon. I'd kind of like to have a ribbon that, I could attach, but I just couldn't find anything I really, really, really liked. So anyway, I'm going to show you a few whips, and some of these are pitiful. Pitiful. This one, I saw somebody was working on this, and I love this piece. Love it, love it. And I'm going to eventually make it into a small. See my start? Pitiful. So anyway, I knew that I wouldn't frame it, that I'd make it into a small. So that's why I didn't give myself much margin. And there's a couple colors in here I may change. The color for these vines and leaves is a pretty forest type green, and I think I'd rather have a little bit more muted, maybe like an endive or something like that. So that's a whip that I need to get back to. This one I just started today. I think I had an hour to no, I didn't even have that long. 10 minutes to stitch before I went to the grocery store. So yeah, it's I'm calling it a start, okay, people? It's this. I love this guy. Is he not cute? somewhere I used to have a couple Uncle Sam's, and you know, you live in the same house for so long, and you're like, did I get rid of it? Is it in a box somewhere? I don't know. You know, just like cute little statue things. This is another one that I started. It's a start. I told you. Um, this is Abigail. My granddaughter thought it would really be fun to pull that right off of there. It's Abigail Harrison of York County. This is an R&R reproduction pattern. And the colors are great. I thought I had them with me, but I don't. Anyway, it has, you know, it's like got this really pretty blue and red and green. Really pretty. You can see. This is the green. So maybe I'll have a little bit more progress on that next time I talk to you. This is a Chessie and Me. I had this kit for a while, and I've got a little bit done on it. Need to finish this. Really need to finish because it's small. A lot of things with Liberty on them. When I used to go to that retreat, the Liberty Gathering was in Liberty, Missouri, famous for Jesse James and the jail he was in, if you're interested. It's outside of Kansas City, and I went for 3 or 4 years with my sister, and oh gosh, it was so fun. So fun. But they had a lot of things that designers, Chessie and Me came, Blackbird Designs, I mean, just quilt designers. There were a lot of different designers. And a lot of them designed things that said Liberty, and obviously it works. It wasn't just, you know, for that retreat, but it was kind of special at the time because it was in Liberty. And I already showed you those. Okay, so the next thing I was going to show you is just a few more things I have kitted that I want to do. This is Heritage Sampler by Plum Street. Somebody, Amy Loves Toads, I think. I think she just finished this and had it framed, and it was gorgeous. I've had it kitted since it came out. I need to start it. That'll be fun. This one, I have loved this since forever and a day ago. American Sampler by Plum Street. And, oh gosh, I really want to do this. My sister started this when we were at the beach. And I was so jealous because I thought, you know, I have mine all kitted. I wish she'd told me we could both worked on the same thing. But she did really good. She finished all of this top thing here. She's on a roll. Looks really good. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So many of these are ones you've seen. This one. And this one actually has like 3-dimensional wool blossoms or flowers. So I have quite a bit of wool, so I'm going to do that. Love it. I have all these Beggars by Threadwork Primitives. That's all kitted. I may start that, like tomorrow. It says the 4th, but I could start it on the 5th, right? I think so. Another one by Threadwork Primitives. What's not to love about that? And it's a good size. I mean, it'll go good in my, I was going to say bread basket. My dough bowl. You know, because it's nice to have some pin drums and some square and some rectangle and long skinny ones and short fat ones, like me. This is another one. This I'm really ready to start. Whoops. Stand up, lady. Lady Liberty. And I had the sterling linen by Picture This Plus, and I'm not a fan of dyeing or over dyeing or spritzing with walnut after I've stitched something. I'm just like so afraid that it's gonna bleed or, something, a big splotch of brown or something, which if I intended to do that, it would be fine. But something like this, I don't want a big splotch of brown on her face or whatever. So I went ahead and I tea and coffee dyed it, the sterling, so that it already has modeling, but I added just kind of a brownish tinge to it. So let me use it. We'll see how it comes out. A lot of people have shown this one. Here I am again, wanting to stitch in the season. Love it. So cute. This is another one. This is a Stacy Nash. It was a country sampler kit. Love all these different motifs just kind of like hanging out there. They're fun. And this one, Land of Liberty by Heartstring Samplery. Sweet Land of Liberty. And then this is that Blackbird book that I said I'd show you. Sweet Land of Liberty. So I've done this one, and I've done this one, and I have this one kitted to do, and I want to do this one. And the other one I've done, which was at the beginning. I didn't get it off the wall. I'll show it to you next time. Was this one. And I put my mom's initials and her maiden name initials and my dad's and the year they were married. It was kind of fun doing that whole seaming 2 pieces of linen together. So done almost all of them in that one. So I had somebody else, one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. One more thing. Somebody asked me, like, organization, how I organize stuff. One of the things I do is I ring my floss, and I either make or buy these little tags, and then I write in pencil what it is. Because if you have 12 of these sitting around ready to go, and you have no idea, and so many of them are same colors, I need to label them. So I started doing that when I started having multiple projects. So it's just a quick thing, and I use them over and over until they're worn out, and just erase and put on a new something. The other thing I do is I try to keep a journal of what I'm stitching. Now, I haven't updated recently because, I was gone for a week. We only live 12 miles from the beach, but, it's just nice to go, stay, Back to that word thing when I started talking about hi and hey. When we first moved here, I tell people, I'm going to take the kids today and we're going to go to the ocean. And they'd look at me like, you're going to the ocean? Yeah, Atlantic Ocean. It's 12 miles. You mean the beach? Yeah. Okay. I mean the beach. So you don't say I'm going to the ocean. You say I'm going to the beach. So hi, hey, ocean, beach, whatever. But anyway, I write down a journal. I try to journal what I'm working on every night. I mostly stitch in the evening. Once I've, done dinner and dishes and all that stuff, I'll sit down 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I'll stitch till 12:30 or 1:30, something like that. Once in a while, I stitch during the day, like on Sundays. I think I mentioned my last video, I was watching it, and here I say, oh, I know I stitched this on a Sunday, and I thought, and you haven't told them why, so what difference does it make to anybody that's watching this, what day you stitched it? Well, the point was, on Sundays, we go to church and then we eat out, so I don't have to cook. And then the rest of the day, because I don't cook Sunday night, we just kind of scrounge. And so the rest of the day, say 2 o'clock on, I stitch. So I stitch almost 12 hours on a Sunday, 10 hours, whatever. And so I get a lot more done on a Sunday. The rest of the time during the week, I do have my long arm quilting business. So usually 3 or 4 days during the week, I'm at my machine quilting. Gives me the money to buy all my cross stitch stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, that's kind of all I have. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have just amazed me. I I had no idea that I would get the response. I'm just like kind of a nut, and I stitch a lot, and my daughter hasn't even watched the first video all the way through because she couldn't stop laughing. My husband we watched it on the big TV, and here's my face, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if you should do these. First of all, you need to get your hair cut. So I did. And second of all, you need a little color in your skin. So got a tan. And third of all, you got too much eye makeup on. We're so critical of ourselves. So when somebody else comes through and says, your videos are great and I loved it and I want to sit outside your house, look through your window, it's just it's kind of bizarre. You just can't quite grasp the response. I'm really blown away, overwhelmed, and so thankful because you guys have just welcomed me, and I really had no idea. I thought if a few people watched it, it would be fun. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's it's a motivator to get things done and get them stitched and finished so you can, do another one. I'm hoping my next one I'm going to do, and I'm going to call it Legacy, because I've already thought there's a lot of my samplers. This was mostly patriotic Americana and all that, but a lot of my samplers that I've done that I could show you, I thought it'd be kind of fun to show those. So I'm sure there's something that I've written in my notes that I forgot to say, but, the memory isn't what it used to be. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great 4th of July. I was telling my husband earlier today, I said, I just have memories of the perfect 4th of July meal. Would be a cookout. We used to say barbecue. Now everybody says grill. Another one of those words. Anyway, we used to cook out. Corn on the cob, homemade potato salad, baked beans, and for dessert, strawberry pie and watermelon. I said, if I could sit down at my mom's table and eat that again, I would be a happy camper. So I'm trying to replicate it today. We'll see. So with all that, I just want to say thanks again and have a great 4th and keep stitching. Love ya. Bye.